here we go. So I bought this intake off eBay. It looks to be like somebody took a stock intake, cut it, then welded on these runners, and then welded on this plenum. I like this better than the other setups because the other setups look like you had to run like flexible hoses in between each runner, and I was worried that you're gonna overheat because it just can't, you know, pump out the same amount of coolant around through the water jackets. So this looked like the best option. It looks like somebody tried experimenting and putting this together. I think they did a good job. I've only had to clean up some threads and stuff because this thing's been sitting for God knows how long. Yeah, air idle control valve. This is all gonna work, which is great because I wanted that because I eventually want to put air conditioning in my car. But I'll show you the intake I have on now. I have this top hat and it just hits the hood, so it won't close. So I'm hoping this will sort it all out. Okay, bud. So stock throttle body fits perfect. I have to do something here for the throttle cable. Probably weld on the bracket or something like this, and then put a notch in it. Drilled this out. This was tiny. It's pretty close to the stock one on that manifold there. I got to figure out something with the cooling plumbing because it goes from here, these 3 ports. This doesn't exist on the stock. Instead you have this guy with a tube. So I'm gonna have to cut this and like somehow get it to go here or reroute it. I'm not sure yet. Okay, so I took off the intake with that top hat. Still got a little work to do. I gotta clean up the head so I can get a new gasket on there. I had this, this I think was supposed to go to the throttle body. So I'm gonna bypass that. I'm just gonna move the heater core hose directly onto that barb fitting and just bypass this completely. This heater fitting doesn't exist on my new intake, so I'm gonna have to modify the intake, and then I think this is the other side, so I'm gonna have to add something to it so that I have some coolant running around my injectors. This is a 280z oil pressure sender unit that you can get, and it bolts in right into the RB20, and so you can still use your stock gauge. I had to just extend the wire here just so it'll fit, but I mean, it's awesome. That way you don't have to fiddle around with changing gauges. You can still use your stock 280Z gauge on this motor, which is fantastic. So let me show you that intake. So I pulled this out of the car, pulled the fuel rail off, pulled the idle air control valves, pulled the throttle body. I am going to take off the coolant tube that goes down here. I'm going to have to cut it, weld it, or cut it, bend it, weld it, so that it'll work on the new intake. But it shouldn't be too bad. But at least now my hood will close. And to tell you the truth, I like the other one better. Look of it. And something I noticed on this, looks like somebody tried doing something interesting here and bug aired it up. So I'm thinking I'm gonna put one of these fittings in. This is for a 3/8, so I'm gonna have to do a 5/16 barb instead of 3/8. But something similar. I think it just drill and tap that in there. So it'll be just a hair smaller than that. I've got to do that here as well, so that way I think I can have coolant near my injectors. These are the injectors, just the stock rail injectors and dampener and fuel pressure regulator. But I'll go ahead and bolt that on and I'll show you an issue I ran into. Okay, here we go. So the stock rail and fuel pressure regulator bolts right in. Looks beautiful. Only issue is the dampener. The dampener will not fit. Hold on, let me go grab it. Show you why. It makes that 90-degree turn. No way that thing's going on there. So I'm pretty sure this is a dampener after reading online that the fuel enters. So this is the firewall. This is the radiator side. So the firewall side Fuel comes in from here, goes into the dampener, which is supposed to help balance the pulses coming off the fuel pump, and then it goes into all the injectors, and then it's your fuel pressure regulator. That's what I've been able to figure out online. I could be backwards, but I'm pretty sure that this is the fuel pressure regulator. So anyway, so this is gonna go an adapter plate, and then I'm gonna throw in, let's see if I have one of these. Here they are. Just a barb fitting, and go 90 degrees off of that, and then go 90 degrees. Sorry, it died again. So I'm gonna take out the fuel pressure regulator, put in an adapter, put this barb fitting in, and then run an external fuel pressure regulator that I got already. But I'm just waiting on these adapters before I can put this all together. Then after that, I gotta weld in 2 bungs for the coolant temperature sensors and fix this split and sort out coolant lines, and we're ready to go. But that'll be next time. All right, guys, see ya.